Hello and welcome to the Auto Loons YouTube channel. We are back with another episode of Small Cars, Small Reviews. Back with another Hot Wheels racing model. This one is the Hot Wheels GP 2009, though it was not officially named as such when it was released. This model was first introduced in 1999, and the original model did not include a driver in the cockpit, which was added in the year 2000. So technically this would be 2000, like a 2001 2003-ish model, this particular one. It's an all black diecast Formula 1 car model, but that's not how it originally was. It had some stickers on which have come off over the years. The stickers weren't from factory, like they were part of the package, like I had to apply them, so it's not a poor material issue on Hot Wheels behalf, but instead just a case of, peelable stickers coming off. Yeah, as I said, this is a 2003 model, as you can see here. It is an F1 model which is based on the cars of the 1999-1998 era. These F1 cars were powered by 3-liter V10. That's it. This is the best sounding era of F1. These engine regulations lasted till 2005. F1 cars from this generation had over 700 brake horsepower. In fact, the McLaren F1 car of that era, which was the championship winning vehicle, had over 780 brake horsepower, while the closest rival, the Ferrari F300, was producing around 750 brake horsepower. McLaren Mercedes, which was the fastest car in 1998-1999, the MP4-13 and the MP4-14. Both of which were designed by Adrian Newey, who then went on to design the championship-winning Red Bull racing cars. For McLaren, it was Mika Hakkinen at the wheel that got to back-to-back drivers' championships in 98 and 99. That's it for the history lesson on the F1 car that this model is based on. Now, this model itself was introduced as part of a McDonald's Happy Meals package. The US and the Euro spec Hot Wheels F1 model was offered in various colors and sticker decals to match the liveries of the teams racing on the grid in those seasons, such as McLaren, which was the black base with silver stickers, Williams, which had a white base, Jaguar, which had a green base, and Jordan, which had a yellow base. There was a Ferrari model as well based on this exact mold, but I have not seen it till date. This particular one I received in a McDonald's Happy Meal in around 2003, which had McDonald's stickers and not F1 livery stickers. So it just had McDonald's branding with some black and neon stripes, which is probably why I took the stickers off and I didn't mind it too much. But the model itself is a very decent design. Again, it reflects as much detail as you probably could for the 1:64 scale model in this price point of the complex aerodynamics of an F1 car. You have these wings in front of these vents, the barge board design completely flat, the big diffuser, the narrower overall shape, as you will see in comparison to modern F1 cars. The wheels, again, wheels are not my particular favorite detail. The F1 rims look interesting, but clearly the center locking design is quite unrealistic. But the cutaways for this pretty much free Hot Wheels model are quite impressive. Even the small ridges and complexities of the front wing, the front suspension linkage, if I can show you here. It's not just a couple of sticks sticking out. It is decently detailed, with its most prominent design shape still visible, even if the intricacies are not. Once again, a model that is a bit worse for wear, having been played with quite a lot. You can see the paint finishes come off from a few corners that were probably scraped quite aggressively. The driver detailing is also nice. I like the yellow contrast for the driver's helmet. You can see the pair of hands sort of stuffed in there. They look more like they're holding onto a joystick than a steering wheel, but even that amount of detail, including the wrinkles for the racing suit, is a nice touch. You can see it has a small indents on this side, on the nose as well, which are part of the aerodynamic package of this car. It is a great F1 model to have at this price point. As a collectible, I would have preferred the Ferrari red one with the decals, or any of the original F1 livery options. We're now going to move from the 1998-1999 F1 car 10 years ahead, and on to this, the 2019 Ferrari F1 car. As the box says, it's a 1:43 scale diecast model of the Ferrari SF90, which was the Ferrari F1 car for the 2019 season. It also specifies that this was the spec they ran for the Australian GP, the season opener. The reason I specifically like this car is because it bears the numbers of Charles Leclerc, number 16, who's visible alongside 2019 teammate Sebastian Vettel, and we have sort of printed signatures of both drivers. So, and I also like the fact that this particular, it's a small diecast model. It's not the best quality, it's not the best detailed, it's affordable, and yet it's very presentable. The package keeps the model at a tilt. You can see the drivers of that season, and you can clearly see the Ferrari brand. But if you're going to talk about it in more detail, we need to get it out of the box. And there we have it. I think this is the first time I've taken it out of the box entirely, which is why I was a bit surprised there was only one screw holding it to that little piece of cardboard. Now, of course, the bigger scale lends itself to a little more detailing, but this was my first Bburago F1 model of this scale and of this kind of manufacturer year, and I'm very, very impressed with the detailing in terms of the sponsors, the stickers, the colors. Love the look of this. I'm a little upset that my camera is not picking up the exact red that this car is, which I can see in real life, and it matches the F1 car quite closely. It's wearing the Pirelli soft compound tires marked by the yellow stickering on the tire walls. It also features the halo, which was introduced in the 2018 season. Unfortunately, this model does not have a driver in the driver's seat, which does give us a better look at the detailing of the steering wheel. Before we talk more about the diecast model itself, let's do a quick run through of what this car is, or what the gap is from 1999 to 2019. First of all, the cars have become wider and longer, like way wider. Biggest change though, transition between then and now, is the powertrain. The V10s packed up, then there were the 2.4 liter V8s done and dusted, and after a very long gap, Formula 1 reintroduced turbo engines in 2014, in addition to hybridization. The modern F1 car features a 1.6 liter turbocharged V6 engine paired to a hybrid system for a peak combined output of around 1000 brake horsepower, of which 800 brake horsepower so comes from the engine alone, not even taking into account the hybrid system. The SF90 in particular had less downforce than its competitors, which meant it was quicker on the straights, but was also prone to spinning in corners, as Vettel was happy to prove often enough. The matte finish was intentional because it's lighter than a gloss finish paint. That's F1 for you. The teams are looking for every opportunity to gain an advantage within the rules. This particular model is the car of Charles Leclerc, as signified by the racing number 16. This was Charles' debut year for Ferrari after he made his F1 debut in 2018, driving for the junior team Sauber Racing. Of course, the F1 car goes through many developments in season, and Leclerc should have had his first win in Bahrain, but a complication with his engine in the last few laps meant that he had to nurse his car to just about get P3 for his first F1 podium finish. Leclerc continued to outperform his teammate and four-time world champion Sebastian Vettel by getting more pole positions, and in the second half of the seasons, he stole the show with 2 back-to-back wins at Spa and at Monza. In fact, Charles went on to score the highest number of pole position starts for 2019 with a total tally of 7. Ferrari have doubled down on Charles Leclerc as their lead driver, as they have since signed him on a 5-year deal. Leclerc has already had some intense track battles with Red Bull's star driver Max Verstappen in the 2019 season, going head-to-head with varying results. Going back to the model itself, having held this for the first time, I can't help but gaze over how every texture reveals another detail of this model, like the front wing. It's such a detailed design. Okay, of course it has little screws and bolts which are not part of the actual car, but the way the wings sort of bend up, I don't know if I can show you clearly, if you can see it here. They bend up, they're not just flat, they bend up. This is so many delicate parts, I'm struggling to hold it. The complicated design ahead in front of the barge board that controls the air that controls the airflow. The barge board itself, like, it doesn't have the cutaways completely, but it has these indents which mark some of the aerodynamic elements of this design, including the air pods, which are quite distinct from model to model in terms of from race team to race team. The rear wing complexity as well. Of course, it's not a moving part as such, so you won't open the flap for DRS, but you can clearly see just how complicated and fine-tuned the balance and that aerodynamics of an F1 car are. So this model doesn't have suspension and it has no steering, but it has free-rolling wheels, and the intricate details which I have been going on about over and over are truly worth this small price. If you can get your hands on a modern Formula 1 Bburago model, 1:43 scale, it's totally worth it, and it makes for a great decoration piece as well. So let's take a look at these two side to side. Now, because they're not the same scale, I'm going to put this one further back and bring this one a bit closer to camera. You can see just how things have progressed. Again, this is a 1/64 Hot Wheels that came with a McDonald's Happy Meal. That's a 1:43 Bburago model. But the differences are night and day. The evolution of the sport is undeniable. These F1 cars are not only some of the fastest F1 cars in terms of lap times, they're also the most efficient. So efficient, in fact, that FIA decided for 2021 there was no need to make any changes to the powertrain regulations, because they realized, apart from going full electric, there just wasn't anything as efficient and as dynamic as this 1.6 liter turbocharged hybrid setup. I hope you enjoyed this one. Stay tuned for more, leave a comment. Don't forget to check out the Auto Loons blog in the description for lots more content around cars and F1, and be sure to follow us on Instagram as well. That's for this episode. See you all next time.